What better way to fix our finances than trusting God? Because there's nothing that he can't do.
This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. This is my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. And I'm desperate for you. And I'm lost without you. This is the air I breathe. This is the air I breathe. Your holy presence living in me. This is my daily bread. Oh, you are my daily bread. Your very word spoken to me. And I'm desperate for you. I'm lost without you. I'm desperate for you. I'm lost without you. I'm lost without you. I'm lost without you. I'm desperate for you. I'm desperate for you. I'm nothing without you.
In this moment, maybe you're feeling that desperation, like in this season, maybe you've been breathing in conflict or negativity or trials, and you're just like, God, man, I need you right now. Listen to the words of David, Psalms 31. He says, have mercy on me, Lord, for I am in distress. Tears blur my eyes, my body and my soul are withering away. I'm dying from grief. My years are shortened with sadness. Sin has drained my strength. I'm wasting away from within. But I am trusting you, O Lord. You are my God. My future is in your hands. Turn your ear and listen to me. Rescue me quickly. Be my rock and my protection, my fortress where I can be safe. How great is the goodness you have stored up for those who fear you. You lavish it on those who come to you. Blessings await them. So be strong and courageous, all of you, and put your hope in the Lord. I don't know what you're going through today, and God is there for us to be that fortress and our strength. In these moments of desperation or feeling lost, let's just take a moment and just open our heart to him today. Maybe just whatever is laying heavy on you, just bring that to God and say, God, be my strength in this situation, just quietly in this moment. Lord God, be our strength. May we experience your goodness. We're lost without you. We're desperate for you. We look to you, God, in your name. Amen. Isaiah 45 says, open up, your heavens, rain down your righteousness. Let the earth open wide so salvation and righteousness can sprout up. Let's just ask God to rain down in our life, to sprout up his goodness in our lives.
Let it rain. Open the floodgates of heaven. Let it rain. Let it rain. Open the floodgates of heaven. Before I drew a single breath, before the light had touched my skin, you formed me. Before I knew you even cared, and every moment since, you've always been for me. Still you that I want, still you still my everything. After everything, it's still you for me.
You guys pray with me. Father God, we thank you for all you do for us, for all you continue to do for us, for all you promise to do for us, God. You are the air that we breathe, God. We just pray that you fill us this morning as we're giving it all to you, because you are our everything. Amen. You guys go ahead and grab a seat.
Hi, I'm Josh, and this is Mike. We're part of the lead team, and today we're in the church parking lot to talk about our June giving project.
As you can see, we got a little line issue. So part of the project is painting the lines. We have some cracks that we need to fill, just normal maintenance on the parking lot. We've gotten some quotes that total about $3,700. And this is a great opportunity for those that like to give towards a special project. We can give towards the parking lot maintenance this month.
So if you want to give to the project, you can do it via Venmo, you can do it on the website, or you can drop some money in the envelope in the back of the church. Just make sure that you note on there that it's for the parking lot project. Thanks for everything you do. Let's continue to make this place a great place to explore a relationship with God.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Journey. It's summer. Summer's all about ice cream and the beach and baseball games and lots of good times, but it's also some great stuff happening here at The Journey. Hope you're ready for summer at The Journey. First of all, a couple things to let you know about. Starting in July and August, we're doing one service only at 10 a.m. That's in July and August, but also on holiday weekends, we're going to be doing church on the lawn. So we just had Memorial Day weekend. July 6th is July 4th weekend, so that'll be church on the lawn. So make sure you bring either a chair or a blanket to sit on. Weather permitting, will be church on the lawn, 10 a.m. on July the 6th. The other thing to let you know about is later this summer in August, we're going to be doing baptisms at the beach. Baptism is a great step to take in your relationship with God. And if you're a follower of Him and you're thinking about taking that step of baptism, we have an info meeting next Sunday after each service. It's just 10 minutes long, but if you're interested, you want to know more about baptism, make sure you're here next Sunday for a 10-minute meeting after each service. Also, just want to thank everyone for coming today, and hope you have a great experience connecting with God here at The Journey. And if you're a guest, we hope you have that experience as well. Make sure you grab a guest card and drop it off at the Next Steps in our lobby. You can get a gift as you leave. And I also want to thank everyone for giving. Everyone that does give here at The Journey. If you want to give, you can do the boxes, Venmo, or the giving page on the website. Thanks for coming. Let's have a great summer at The Journey.
Well, good morning and welcome into the Journey. I'm Matt, one of the pastors here. I want to say special welcome to those joining us online as well. Glad you're here. And I don't know about you, but my prayer has been this weekend, thank you, God, for air conditioning. Whoever you worked in the mind of someone back in the day, I don't know who that was, but I know I'm grateful for that. And you saw some of the things come up for summer. I'm glad we're not doing church on the lawn today. So, if you're around here long enough, you know summer, I don't like the hot, and so I'm glad we'll be indoors in the air conditioning. Glad you're with us, though, too. Today we're going to be talking about some money issues, and not about, like, giving to church, but, like, how do we find maybe some direction with our finances? It seems like in some conversations I've been in lately, the topic of money seems to come up from some people, and just sometimes it's complaining about how expensive things are or things like that, or just other topics around money. Maybe it's like job situations and things like that. It seems to be coming up in more conversations I've had, and we've actually been talking a lot about finances with my daughter at our house. And so she graduated college, she has like a real job now, and she has to start paying for stuff. And so you're like, hey, this is how much your car insurance is. And she's like, what? It's like, yeah, this is like, we've been paying it, now it's your turn, and so things like that. So those type of conversations, but just I'm just thinking about like what's ahead for her. She's starting her new job and stuff, but man, it's like things are a lot different. I was thinking back to when we were that same age. My wife and I were in college at that time. We had just gotten married, but you could go to like Hot Now and get like a 39-cent hamburger, right? Or like a 6-pack of tacos for $3 at Taco Bell. Now those things are like one sandwich is like double that price or whatever. And I think of like gas prices. It's like when I was in college, we were paying 70 cents back in the olden days, in those good old days, you know. I know some of you probably were even less than that, and now it's like $3.70 you might pay for gas. And we lived in a 2-story townhouse when we got married. We were still in college, and it was $250 a month, right? And now, like a 1-bedroom apartment is like $1,500 at least, or like my first car. My very first car I got to drive was a Mustang. Yeah, it wasn't cool. It was like the bad years. It was 84 Mustang. It was like the Capri style with the hatchback. It was rusty brown. And I bought it from my cousin, but I only paid $750 for that thing. And it was a great car. But it's like, man, you look at like to find a decent car these days, so much money. And so we've been talking with her a lot about finances because things are different these days. Things are expensive. Now, back then, too, I also was working when we were in college. I was working a couple of different jobs, and some of them were on-campus jobs, and they were only $4.25. Like $4.25 was minimum wage back then, and so I wasn't making a lot of money either. And so, like something we had to learn early on, something we're trying to pass on to our daughter, is about being smart with our finances, because everything is expensive, and it just seems like life just keeps getting more and more expensive. It seems like housing is just out of control. It seems like insurance stuff. It seems like you pay more and they cover less. And it seems like when it comes to like college, you can like just dig yourself into like this huge financial hole, and like how do you get out of that? So knowing like all of this, today we're talking about money matters, because money matters. It can affect every aspect of our life. It can affect our health, even with the stress of it. Money can affect our relationships. It's one of the leading causes for divorce. It's one of the biggest stresses in life. It can also affect us spiritually. It can weigh on us in such a way that affects our spiritual life as well. And so money matters, and so we want to talk about some money matters because this is a big topic. And the scriptures actually have a lot to say about finances. Jesus had a lot to say about finances, and we'll be looking at some of that insight today so that our finances don't have to be a burden on our life. And so I'm going to invite you to join with me as we look at some words of Jesus. We're going to be looking in Luke chapter 12, if you want to turn there with me. You can. It's at the beginning of the New Testament. You have Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. They're 4 accounts of Jesus. And Luke was someone who investigated Jesus. He got interviewed all kinds of firsthand people who had experiences with Jesus, and he recorded this for us. And so let's be looking at what Luke recorded us for the words of Jesus as Jesus talked about money. Luke chapter 12. And again, I just want to encourage you, as always, too, if you don't have a Bible, we'd love to give you one at the Next Step Center. And also, but I encourage you to use the YouVersion Bible app, too. We have a reading plan that we're setting up for the next couple of weeks, too. You might want to check that out in the YouVersion Bible app. It's right on our website, the link to that. So here's what it says, Luke chapter 12, beginning in verse 13. Someone in the crowd said to him, "Teacher, tell my brother to divide the inheritance with me." And Jesus replied, "Man, who appointed me to be a judge or arbitrator before you?" Now, I'm not really sure of how how I should read that, the tone of that. Is Jesus saying like, man, who made me or is he like, man, who made me like the arbitrator of that? Is that how he's responding? I don't know. I'm not sure how to read the tone in that one, but I'm sure that's kind of how he felt. Like why are you getting me into your family business here of all this finances stuff? And then he said to him, well, watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greed. Life does not consist in abundance of possessions. Let's make note of that right there. What does Jesus say? Life does not consist in an abundance of possessions. I mean, these are words spoken 2,000 years ago, but man, those words right there still apply today. That so many of us get caught in this trap to think if I just have more, then my life will be better. More money or more things. If I have to keep up my Instagram kind of profile to look like everybody else, to kind of keep track with everybody else, if I have to have these things because everybody else has them, if I follow all these commercials that tell me about the latest project that I have to have, if I'm getting sucked into Amazon Prime Day and just blowing money just because it's like a national holiday now to spend money on Amazon, it's like we get sucked in to that. But here's what Jesus says. Life does not consist of abundance of possessions. And he told them this in this parable. The ground of a certain rich man yielded an abundant harvest. He thought to himself, what shall I do? I have no place to store my crops. And then he said, this is what I'll do. I will tear down my barns and build bigger ones. And there I will store my surplus grains. And I'll say to myself, you have plenty of grain laid up for many years. Take life easy, eat, drink, and be merry. But God said to him, you fool, this very night your life will be of demand from you. Then who will get what you have prepared for yourself? And this is how it will be with whoever stores up for themselves, but is not rich towards God. And then he said to his disciples, therefore I tell you, do not worry about life or what you eat or about your body or what you will wear. See, back then that was a sign of your status. What you ate, what you wore, how you looked, that was a status symbol, just like it still is today. And now when Jesus was telling this parable, he wasn't saying it's bad to like save, but it was like, are you saving up just to say, like, I can sit back and just, my life will be perfect because I have all of this stuff, all this grain, all this stuff stored up. That's what he's saying here. But life is not found in abundance of possessions. Continues a few verses later. It says this, and do not set your heart on what you eat or drink. Don't worry about that, for the pagan world runs after such things, and your Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom, and all these things will be given to you as well. Do not be afraid, little flock, for your Father has been pleased to give you the kingdom. Sell your possessions, give to the poor, provide purses for those that will not wear out, a treasure in heaven that will not fail, where thieves come near and no moth destroys. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be. When Jesus says, don't worry about what you eat or drink, that doesn't mean like, I'm just not going to work a job anymore then. I don't need to win money. That's not what he's saying. And obviously, with how expensive things are, these are some concerns, like groceries, way more expensive. When he's saying those things like, don't worry about that, it's this focus again of, where's your heart? Where's your treasure? If we're living for an abundance of possessions, if we're living to have all of the things that we think will make our life better, then we're going to fall into this trap because that's where our treasure is. We think stuff will make our life better. Money will make our life better. Jesus says that is a trap because where your treasure is, there your heart will be. And you can't take it with you. And you can store up all of this stuff and life will demand other things from you. Jesus told another parable a couple chapters down in Luke 16. He says this, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. I think those are interesting words there. We often think, oh, if I just have more, then all my problems will be solved. If I just have more money. But here he's saying, like, if you can't handle the little that we have, like, what makes you think that you'll be able to handle more well? Again, we think, if I just have more, you'll fix all my problems. What I have seen is that if you can't manage your money when you have a little, that means you can't, it's even worse when you get more because you can't manage it. You don't know how. It doesn't make it better. It just puts you in bigger debt. It just makes you buy bigger things that are more expensive. We have to be able to manage what we have now. It isn't found in having more. It's found in what can I do with what I have now. So it continues, it says, so if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches? And if you have not been trustworthy with someone else's property, who will give you property of your own? No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you'll be devoted to one and despise the other. And then he says, you cannot serve both God and money. He could have said a lot of different things there. But he said you can't serve both God and money. It pulls you in different directions. There's a different set of priorities because where your heart is, there your treasure is. Because if you're looking to serve money, you're thinking that if I just have an abundance, that's where my life will consist. But Jesus says, no, there's a different way. And what it comes down to with our money, it's really an issue of our hearts. If we want to manage our money well, it's a matter of the heart. And he also talked about there, like, who can be trusted with little? So maybe you feel like I have little. Am I trustworthy of that? How do I do that? How do I become trustworthy with a little? Well, we have this thing, we call it like a financial growth pathway. It's just some steps that we can take to maybe fix our finances based upon biblical things. And so there was some sheets over when you first walked in. You might want to grab one of those on your way out. It's just like a little plan to think through, how am I managing my money? One of the first things on that is about establishing an emergency fund. And that's like a great first step to take. You don't want to live paycheck to paycheck and then have an emergency come up, and then all of a sudden you have to go into debt to cover that emergency. We've always said like kind of around $1,000, but like I think that might need to be more these days because like $1,000 doesn't cover as much as what it used to. $1,000 emergency doesn't seem to be that big of an emergency these days. But you know what? You're going to have emergencies, right? And usually it's not like one thing, it's like all of it. Like a year ago at this time, for us, we had to put some brakes on one of our kids' cars. We've lived in our house for almost 20 years now, and so it's all falling apart. And so within a month, we were fixing some cars, paying for that, and then our fridge died, and then our washing machine needed to be replaced, and then our furnace had to be replaced too. So like all within like 3 months. But that's just how it works. Isn't that? It's just how it works. Like you can get upset about it, but I have found that it's like when one thing falls apart, it seems like it's just going to be like a little bit of a snowball. And so you got to be ready for those things. And if you're living paycheck to paycheck and you don't have the funds to cover that, then you have to go into debt to cover that. And so like having an emergency fund is necessary just to cover life that happens sometimes. I don't know if you have that set up, and so that means taking some money that you would normally spend on something else and saving that and establishing that so you don't have to go into debt when emergency comes. What that means is that maybe you have to make some cuts. What it means is don't live paycheck to paycheck. What it means is don't start to buy stuff that you don't really need. I think of this, there was this old Saturday Night Live skit, an SNL skit with Steve Martin, and they had this little financial pamphlet that they were promoting, and it was only one page long, and it said, don't buy things you can't afford. And there was like this whole thing that they were spinning off, and it was like so confusing for Steve Martin. He was like, so you mean if I don't have the money, I shouldn't buy it? And they're like, exactly. And he's like, wait a minute. So what I do is I go buy the thing, and then I get the money. And he's like, no. It's like, don't buy things you can't afford. And so this is something we have to apply to our life. It's a simple step to say, like, man, I need to maybe make some cuts in what I'm buying so I can establish an emergency fund so I'm not living paycheck to paycheck, so my life doesn't fall into this cycle of debt just because life happens. We have to have an emergency fund. And so part of maybe setting that up is kind of the next step about establishing a budget, to use a budget. I don't know if you've ever done a budget before. They're not fun. Budgets are not fun to do. But what they do is they tell the truth, because you have to list all the things that you spend money on one side, and that's like this big, long list of all your bills you pay, of all the times you go to parties in the park in the summer, and you spend money down there, and all the open houses you have to go to, and you have to pay them to show up to that, and then give them a gift, and you have to like write all of that stuff down, a big, long list of all your expenses, and then you have your income, and that's a little tiny short list, but hopefully there's more on the income than on the expenses. And if they're not, then it shows that we need to make some adjustments. Maybe be cutting some of our costs, maybe I need a side hustle for a little bit to make some more money. It might be something else like that. And so the budget tells the truth. It's not fun to do. You got to save receipts. There's lots of good apps you can use nowadays, and they can help you do that. And we have some resources online too, through like Dave Ramsey and different stuff like that. If you've never done a budget, it speaks the truth. It helps you make decisions too. And so it's hard work, but it's worth it, because here's what it says, Proverbs chapter 10. It says, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. If we do like, that's too much work to do a budget. Well, lazy hands make for poverty. If we're not willing to put the work in to figure out how I need to fix my finances, then we're going to be stuck there. If we are willing to just do a little bit of work, diligent hands bring wealth. They help us get out of the poverty. Doing something like a budget, it speaks the truth. It helps us make better decisions. You know, that's a lot of this, is to be able to look at your financial picture. A budget does is and say, I need to make a decision that's smart where I'm at now. Like, I know, like for me recently, I was mentioning my kids' vehicles, and so like I drove the same car for like 12 years, and I got passed down to our kids, and so we were in the space to get another vehicle because we like to spend money, I guess. Anyways, we got 4 vehicles right now. That's not fun. It's not fun. Anyways, I wanted to get a truck. And so I look at my budget. What's a smart decision? Well, I'm not going to get a big truck because that's like an insane amount of money these days. I was looking for like a small size truck, which are now big trucks anyways, like a Colorado or Tacoma or a Frontier or something like that. And I was looking at those, and I was like, man, this truck is bigger than what they say is a mid-sized truck. It's more expensive, and like they have to have all the bells and whistles these days and stuff like that. And then the Ford Maverick came out, and I was looking at that. It was like $20,000 less at the time that I got it than like all those other trucks. Now, it's not everything I want. It's not tall enough. It's not really even a truck. It's just a car with a truck bed on it, front-wheel drive and stuff like that. But I mean, if it's in my garage, it gets better gas mileage than the other trucks. It's not as cool, but it does the job, and it's what I needed and what I wanted in some sense. And so it's like I had to make and then I was leasing it because it was a new model, and I wasn't sure if I was going to buy it. And now my lease just ran up, and I had to make a decision again. Am I going to get this truck? Am I going to keep it? Am I going to buy something new? But it was such a good deal to keep it. I was like, I guess I have to keep it because this is the best financial decision. Now, making that decision, I consider my whole finances. Like, we right now have 4 stupid cars that we're paying insurance on, and 2 of them are high school kids we're paying insurance on, and so that's expensive. And so I can't afford to get this big truck because I'm looking at our overall budget. I need to make a reasonable choice. And then sometimes I see like these TikToks of like car dealership people and stuff like that, and they're like, how much do you spend each month on your car? And I see people, they're like, my car payment is $1,000, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like maybe they got money to spend on stuff like that. I'm just like, you don't have to make that decision. There's other decisions you can make. But sometimes we need that budget to help us make wise decisions. So let's not be lazy. Let's put the work in, diligent hands that can help us get out of poverty. Like another thing with that is about paying off debts and credit cards or college loans or things like that. When those things hang over our head, that's a bunch of our money just goes towards something else, someone else. It's not our own. We're not in financial freedom. We're stuck. Here's what it says in Proverbs 22. It says, the rich rule over the poor, and a borrower is a slave to the lender. And that is so true. We become a slave because we have to pay all of these debts that are hanging over our head. And we don't have the freedom to do what we want with our money. We don't have the freedom to be able to save maybe like what we want to save, or to buy the things we might need, because we have all these other bills hanging over our head. We become a slave to them. It's like we already have enough money taken out of our checks for taxes or things like that, and then when you put on top of that money going towards debt that's racked up, it makes it even worse. We got to pay off these debts, our credit cards, our college loans, things like that. We want to make good decisions using our budget, and then we want to get rid of these things that hang over our head. There's, again, resources online for that. Dave Ramsey has a great like debt snowball thing to help you pay off multiple cards. But like the average American has over $6,000 of credit card debt. In some places even put that as a higher number. And they have multiple cards, and so that can be even worse. And that just puts so much weight upon every decision, so much stress on our life and our relationships when we have that debt. So we got to take steps. And you might be like, I don't know how I'd ever even start to pay off the debt. Well, maybe you need to do a budget, and the budget will help you show you where you can make some cuts so that you can pay off some of those debts. And so that's part of it. And just to be smart, to work at that. Like I remember when we had our college loans, we didn't have nearly as much as what they have today. But I've been thinking about that. I'm so grateful. My daughter, she got a scholarship and made a decision about school where she was able to graduate on a 2-year program with no debt. I'm just like, that was a good decision for right now. And so I was thinking back to when we were paying ours off. My wife had to get her master's degree. And so we had been paying off our college loans. And then when she was doing her master's, we could defer her payments. And so like, we don't have to pay because she's back in school. But we deferred them, but we kept making the payments, and we just saw that like number go down and down and down and down. And so, I mean, just making decisions like that to say like, no, we're not going to go on vacation right now. We're going to pay this down, and I know we could not pay it right now and do other stuff, but it's like, let's get rid of this. And when you get rid of that debt, it can bring so much more freedom. You're no longer a slave to the borrower. The other thing we can do in our financial plan is about having a savings plan and thinking long-term. Having a savings plan and thinking long-term. Look at this proverb, Proverbs chapter 6. It says this: "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It has no commander, no overseer ruler, yet it stores up provisions in the summer and gathers food at the harvest." It's like it thinks ahead. Like, oh, I'm going to need this. Even an ant has a savings account in a sense. It stores things up to be ready. And we've got to do the same thing. It's like we can't live paycheck to paycheck. We got to have a plan to save, to think about the future, to maybe make investments. And the earlier we make those investments, the more they pay off. One of the best things that we've ever done in our family is we have like a separate savings account. And whenever our checks get deposited, a portion of that goes into the special account. And so what we do is we learn to not even live off of that amount. And that money is set aside for emergency fund, because again, those are things that are going to happen. That money is set aside for Christmas and birthday gifts. It's set aside for vacations. And we never have to think about it because we always have money in that special account because a portion of our check automatically goes into there. And it was a plan for us to start saving, to start thinking about the future, to learn to live on less so that we can be prepared for emergencies when they come. We got to have a savings plan, thinking about the future and preparing. I just know it's sad to know that there's people who are heading towards retirement, and they're still trying to, they're still in this place of living paycheck to paycheck, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to retire, and I'm not really sure what to tell them. We got to plan for the future and make investments wisely. And so, but, all of these things, those 5 things we just shared, emergency fund, budgeting, paying off debts, having a savings plan, thinking long-term, all those things are great. But what it still comes down to is that the money matters, is that it's a matter of the heart still. We can pretend to do all those things, but none of those things will get fixed until we fix our heart. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, it says this: "Whoever loves money never has enough. Whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with their income." If we don't work on our hearts, we're just going to be stuck in those same positions, whether we have more or not. We're going to be stuck in the same spot because if you love money, it just puts you in a bad place. So here's the key. 1 Timothy chapter 6 says this: "But godliness with contentment is great gain." See, that's the secret right there. Godliness, following God's ways, not trying to find satisfaction in life by an abundance of possessions, but saying, I'm going to follow God in his ways. But godliness, and then you add in contentment with that, that's where we make great gains in our financial picture. Godliness with contentment. Can I be satisfied with buying the smaller truck? Can I be satisfied with living in the house I'm in now? Can I be satisfied by my place and my house not looking like everybody else is on Instagram? Can I be satisfied with the trip that I can afford? Can I be satisfied with when other people are going on spring break vacation that I'm still here and it's cold and wintry or whatever? Or can I be satisfied when everyone is going on this to Alaska, which we have a number of people in Alaska from church right now? Can I be satisfied that and content that maybe I'll be able to do that someday, but like not right now? Can I be content with that? See, that's the secret. Godliness, because then my heart is focused in the right spot, and then contentment along with that. That's where we make great gains. Continues, it says this, for we brought nothing into this world, and we take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, can we be content with that? Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. And I have seen that happen so many times. That people are chasing after an abundance of possessions, and it just brings their life to a ruin because they make foolish decisions that cost them or their families so much more. Because it just brings ruin, because they're chasing after something that they'll never have a hold of because they love wealth, they love things, and they're never satisfied. Some people, eager for money, it says, have wandered from their faith and have pierced themselves with many griefs. Like I've seen that happen as well. That some people, they're so concerned about working and having money and gaining these possessions that church begins to be not a priority. God begins to be not a priority. They just fall into these traps of greed and of possessions and of money, and they begin to make foolish decisions, and they fall away even from their faith. Man, I've seen that happen too many times. So here's what we should do. It says, and it continues a few verses later, command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God. Don't put your hope in an abundance of possessions. Don't put your hope in having more money. Put your hope in God, trusting in Him, being rich in contentment and being rich in walking in His ways. He's the one who richly provides for us everything for our enjoyment. Command them to do good, to be rich in good deeds, to be generous and willing to share. In this way, you will lay up treasures for yourself as a firm foundation for the coming age, these treasures in heaven, so that you may take hold of life that is truly life. Like, do you want to live a life that's really worth living? It's not found in having more. This is why money is a matter of the heart. This is why money matters, because it's a matter of the heart. We can end up chasing after this riches, after things, and it never satisfies. We never have enough. We never measure up. But that's a heart issue. Money is a matter of the heart. And if we want to solve our money problems, that's where it begins. I'm going to ask you just to close your eyes with me as we wrap this up, as we consider maybe yourself. Maybe it's a prayer of God, I need you to work in my finances. Maybe it's a God, I need you to work in my heart. Maybe it's a prayer of God, I need to trust you in these moments. God, I want to seek you first. I don't know what is your response, but let's take a moment and just open our hearts to God, because money is a matter of the heart. Jesus, those words you spoke 2,000 years ago are still so relevant today. And so, God, we just want to do what you call us to do, to seek you first. Work in our hearts. Work against all of the pressures in our culture to buy more things, to have more things, to make more, to do more. May you work against that in our lives. May we be transformed by renewing our mind to realizing that godliness with contentment is great gains. Work in our hearts that that might become the reality of our lives, God. And for us that maybe are in financial troubles, and we ask you for the strength and the conviction to make better decisions, to put in the work. And we ask you to provide for those maybe who are looking for jobs, provide for those who are maybe struggling financially, as they trust you, may you work in their lives, God. May you guide them in the right direction. But most of all, God, we just need a heart focus. Money matters in so many ways, but it's a matter of the heart, God. Work in our hearts. In your name we pray. Amen. We're going to respond with a couple of songs. Why don't you stand with us?
Take all I have in these hands and multiply, God, all that I am. You will fulfill your purpose for me. You won't forsake me. You will be with me. Here I am, God, arms wide open, pouring out my life, gracefully broken. My heart